Hello Advents, Guildmaster here, and this is going to be one of the last videos I make this year, and really for a while. We'll get to why that is in another episode, but this being the second to last, I decided to make it on something that came out recently in a big way, Delta Rune. I don't think any of us were expecting something so closely linked to Undertale, especially after Toby himself said that he wasn't going to make an Undertale 2. Having not played Undertale, but having it spoiled for me, I didn't have much investment in it. I actually heard about it from a friend named Abby. The way she described it, I expected a demo, but boy was I mistaken. I played through the whole game with a newfound passion for it. So much so that I was moved to make a top 10 list. That's why, in this top 10, I'll be making a list of top 10 reasons why Delta Rune is better than Undertale. Oh, snap. Number 10. The way it was advertised. This stunt could have only been pulled off by someone who had the devoted fanbase. Delta Rune was an absolute bombshell. Contrasted with Undertale's promotion to the heavens, with admittedly a kick-ass trailer, Delta Rune was not announced at all. It was a complete surprise to everyone when it released, which was unheard of in the gaming industry, where game devs love to tease us with release dates. Now that is true. Without a well-established fan base, this stunt would have been nigh impossible. It wouldn't have had near the impact it had. That said, it would have been much easier to launch a trailer like every other game, including Undertale. While it couldn't have been done without the help of Undertale, it was Delta Rune that broke this norm. Number 9. You don't have to have played Undertale to play Delta Rune. Okay, I might be wrong on this for one simple possibility, but I don't think I am. Having never played Undertale, to me this holds up as a standalone game. You don't have to know anything about Undertale to play Delta Rune and enjoy it. The ending to Delta Rune, at least the run I did, and I do know there are different runs, was very similar to that of a post-genocide pacifist run in Undertale. I would think that the endings in Delta Rune are the same, but the point still stands. If that is 𝘀𝗫 from Undertale, and it's the same 𝘀𝗫 from Undertale, more on what I mean by that in a bit, then it does throw what I just said out the window. However, if this is 𝘀𝗫, if it's just a 𝘀𝗫, then my argument still holds water. Only time will tell on this one. Number 8. Delta Rune isn't a sequel. I won't spoil anything here, but there are several indicators that Delta Rune is actually a parallel universe. This is good for a couple reasons. One, if I am correct in my assessment of my previous argument, this provides a chance for people who have wanted to have the fresh experience of playing a game as amazing as Undertale, but had it ruined by a multitude of spoilers to do so. Undertale fans, as awesome as they are, as a whole, can't keep their mouths shut. Here, even if Undertale has been spoiled for you, you have another chance to capture that experience. 2. Not only does it nod off track existing AUs, it is, in and of itself, an AU. It's an official AU. Roserage and I were talking about it, and she says it reminds her of an AU fan game, except it's from Toby Fox. This is great because it encourages people to keep being creative with their AUs, and if anything, gives more merit to them. What was that? Number 7. It has Undertale's charm. One of the things that made Undertale stand out was its charm. From fourth wall jokes to making fun of the player, to trolls and clever witticisms that are put in if you do certain things, it has all of the charm of Undertale. I would argue that Undertale probably did it better, but it's by no means bad, and it builds off of what returning players are already familiar with. With a bit of polishing, I believe this could easily be brought back up to par. So it is, but without this seemingly simple touch, it wouldn't have been able to achieve what this list is trying to prove. Undertale may have done this all better, but without its charm, Delta Rune would have never stood a chance. And this is only the first episode. In future episodes, this could very well still get better. Number 6. Toby only released episode 1. Setting aside the fact that he doesn't have any other episodes done, or really any other work done for that matter, an episodic release is brilliant because even if this game is spoiled as much as Undertale, there's still something for people to look forward to. It adds an extra layer of protection so that even if everything is spoiled, everyone has something to look forward to. That said, please be courteous of other people who want to get into this game and do not spoil it for them. Number 5. That WTF ending. I won't include any spoilers this time, but damn that ending! It throws you for a complete loop. Shyamalan wishes he could make such a great twist. It catches you completely off guard, offers no answers, and leaves people excited for the next chapter. Roserage actually made a piece of fan art which captured her emotions and how she felt about the end brilliantly. I won't include the visual in the video here, but I'll leave a link in the description, and if you finish the game, I highly encourage you to check it out. Number 4. The battle system is more polished. The new battle system takes everything you loved about the old system, namely fighting and sparing, and introduces new features such as defense and tension points. It also does an excellent job of using the same formula from Undertale and applying it to an RPG party format, something Toby had some difficulty with as the previous battle system was incompatible with the party setup. But in the end, he pulled it off nicely for a nice balanced, new yet familiar design. Number 3. Delta Rune is more story-driven. Hear me out. I'm not saying that Undertale didn't have a story. On the contrary, it had a great story full of twists, turns, and differences based off of your choices. And spaghetti. My friend was very adamant that I include spaghetti. That said, with an RPG format, Delta Rune was able to go through a bit more of a flowing narrative, with multiple people to interact with in the party. Undertale took a bit of a risk by doing a lone, for the most part, silent character. Now this paid off in the long run, especially since the game hinged on what one you wanted to do, and adding dialogue to a character that could sway one way or the other could have been a difficult thing to manage. But in my opinion, it also kind of held Undertale's story back a bit. It focuses less on the story and more on what choices you want to make. It puts the game mechanic before the story, which doesn't make the story bad, and in fact for the game that it was perfect for what it needed to do. But because the story was based off of a mechanic, that sometimes got more attention than the story itself. In Delta Rune, the story is the focus, and it uses the mechanics that Undertale introduced without putting all the focus on it, thus allowing for a more flowing and possibly more powerful narrative, depending on how future episodes develop. I never said it didn't. Number 2. Delta Rune has more character development. I hear you. I do. First off, let me set a distinction. There is a difference between developed characters and character development. In Undertale, the monsters are developed. They are who they are, and no matter what the course of events, they remain largely unchanged, with the exception of maybe 𝘀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗀. And there is the problem I mentioned before. The focus again is on the game mechanic, and while 𝘺liche does develop, I would argue that they don't develop that much, only in so much as what run they choose to do. The same can be said for 𝘺rise. These two, I can forgive that, as they're supposed to be blank slate characters whom can be whoever you need them to be. But in Delta Rune, the main characters' relationships grow and evolve. Several characters change that go through development. In my humble opinion, character development speaks volumes more than a developed character. Maybe you're right, but if I may squeeze in an honorable mention, there is one thing that this game did that didn't make my list. It made me want to play Undertale. This is something I didn't see coming, but playing through Delta Rune, I realized that there was a run that hasn't been done yet. A run only I could do. My run. Not having the pressures of having to play Delta Rune a certain way made me realize I don't have to play Undertale a certain way. I don't have to strive for a pacifist run or a genocide run. I don't even have to do a neutral run. I can just play the game however I want. And that was a liberating thought. And it took Delta Rune to open up to the possibility of me playing Undertale after all these years. Look at this fluff ball. This fur bundle. This walking definition of adorable is the epiphany of what it means to be a good friend. Minor spoiler, but no matter what you do or how you treat him, he always has your back. He is willing to put himself on the line for you. If he somehow feels that he's doing inadequate, he'll strive to do better just for you. He is loyal and supportive in ways that we wish our friends were, in ways we wish we were to our friends. He's a challenge to us to be better and grow, to help support our friends and loved ones with the same level of support that 𝘺liche shows us. 𝘺liche, hands down, is the #1 reason why Delta Rune is better than Undertale. And you know what? At the end of the day, of course, these are my opinions. If you thought Undertale was better, then you're allowed to think that. Undertale did do quite a few things better. For instance, Delta Rune never challenged me the way that Undertale did. Who remembers fighting Undyne, Sans, or 𝘀𝗏𝗏𝗏? How many tries did it take you to get to that point? Nothing was ever that hard in Chapter 1. So, let's not turn this into a which game is better. Called me out. I really wanted to express my opinions, which I encourage everyone to do. But the last thing I want is to be at each other's throats, or anyone else's for that matter. I highly encourage you to watch the video I left in the info cards. It may upset some of you, but the fact remains, what happens to these YouTubers did happen. And it was this fanbase that did it. So let's take a look at ourselves, make sure that we're a positive force, and make sure Undertale and Delta Rune stay alive and well. Aside from buying Undertale and playing Delta Rune, you can also show your support by supporting different AUs. I've compiled a list of a few fan favorites in the description. Also, be sure to check out that post that Toby made we mentioned earlier. That will be the first link in the description. And as always, we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!